G'day class admins. Today we're looking at problem types, the problem type field, and it's often the case that centers want to add their own problem types. Important to understand, the problem types that you add at custom level need to slot into the code format that has come across from Silsys. It's also based on ABS approach to things like language groups and things. But essentially there's 3 levels of codes, and if you're making custom codes, they'll come in at level 3. They need to be a child and map to something above it. And the reason is you've got level 1 and 2. Level 1 essentially are those sort of national or grandparent codes, we're calling them. They're in certain fields, they're like headings, and then under those main heading areas you get the level 2 codes. Level 2s are mainly the ones that are reportable at the state and federal level, so we can't change them or delete them. They need to stay there. You can hide them if you don't use them though, and I'll show you that in a second. And your level 3, if you want to add something for your center, it means that only your center can see it, but it needs to report up to a level 2. And let me show you what that means in practice. So here we go, where we've just got a service up here, and this is the problem type field that we're dealing with. And when we open that up, you can actually see the codes and such, how they work. Forget about some of the odd doubles. We're just getting those fixed at the moment. But you can see here we've got 1000s, and if I scroll down, we've got 3000s, and essentially the 1000s, 3000s, 4000s, I think 2000s in this case has been skipped for some reason. Each of those 1000 level code is going to be a level 1 kind of heading, and underneath that is a bunch of other ones that are relating to it. For example, we've got all the child supports here under family law, and that's 1130, 1140, 1150, etc. You're probably starting to see the pattern here. If we're going to add something, first you need to find where you are in the system to find what code you can use. In other words, you need to find a gap, and it needs to be relevant to the area of law. So, for example, if it's something like housing, we can do a search for it here. And we can look at now all the different housing related ones, essentially tenancy, and we can see a bunch of things, pets, garden, etc. And we can see the codes. Now I'm going to say maybe create something that's tenancy related to noise. I can see there's nothing already like that in there, so that's always worth checking too. In fact, essential to check you're not creating a repeat. And then we can work out where amongst this group that are there that it'd be appropriate to add it. And I'm seeing particularly things, something like pets and garden, so I would suggest it might be good under there in that 311 something. Maybe we'll do the next one up, 3113. It's typical that a custom option will be you're just changing the final digit of something, and you'll slot it in under there, and that'll keep it neat and tidy. And the reason codes also matter is because that'll matter in what order it appears when you look at this. So we're going to do a new one. It's going to be mapped to housing. It'll be civil law, of course, and we'll slot it in under here at code 3113. So where do we go and do that? Well, there's another video that tells us how to add options in your standard fields, and this is a standard field. It's a problem type. So it's over here under system settings and types and categories. So I'm going to click on that now, and we need to simply find our problem types. So we'll scroll down, there we are, it's in there, or you can do a search by Command F or Control F on a window machine, and it'll just turn up. So here we go, we're going to click on that, and that will give us the entire set of problem types that are already in there. There'll also be the full set of state and federal codes as well in the documentation that you can take a look at. Now at the moment only some of these are what we call editable. When you see this, you'll almost see all of them readable, and that means, for example, you can choose to hide codes irrelevant to your center, which can be quite useful. So if you're just not working in areas of law at all, you can get rid of them, or you can hide them at least, and that means you can do searches a little bit faster. So if I do a search of housing, it'll actually give us all those ones again, and we know that we're going to need to parent it to housing, and it will automatically map there as well. So without further ado, we can go to new and slot in our 1 at 3113, if you recall. So let's go to new, put the code in first, 3113, just so I don't forget it. Again, don't worry about doubles. We're fixing this. We need to select housing, and we're going to put our tenancy noise in. We can put a description, and that's quite useful if you want to give instructions to people when you know they should select, say, one or the other. And because this is new, you can actually make it a default. We're having a glitch at the moment, so the existing ones you can't make default. We'll have that fixed in a few weeks after the rollout. but that's where it's done from if we need it. Won't do it right now because we don't want everybody to start with tenancy noise. We'll save that and could have selected save and close. Now we can head back. We need to probably refresh this. Our tenancy noise should be there. Yep, it's down the bottom. I'm closing that and we'll head back and have a look and make sure that it's choosable. In class, services, we'll do just an advice. We'll look up a standard one. Or we could have done a new one. So we're back over here on a service. We can look at the problem type. We can click on it. And we should actually be able to look for our problem type by going noise. And it is in two places. Fair enough too, there might be a neighborhood dispute. Perhaps that's wrong and you realize maybe that should have been under neighborhood disputes. But these are the kind of decisions you need to decide upon and the reason why you need to search thoroughly for it. But our housing tenancy noise is there and 3113. So now I can just select it and click here to save it. It's been added and guess what? I know it's been mapped correctly to housing because if I scroll down, we now have the housing problem type details. That is a group of fields that has been added only when you select housing, and we can now also add custom fields to that by using the customizer, and there'll be another video that explains that in detail. But that's how we successfully deal with tenancy noise. If we go back to the types and categories and we can find ours again and we made a mistake or we need to hide it, we can hide it just by clicking on that button there. All those will be hideable. That is all I have to say at the moment on this topic, and I will sign off.